ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्।
Jai Gurudev. I will start with P34. Yesterday we left at that. So Shloka I will read, Prajahati.
Yes.
Yeah. The fonts are visible, or shall I enlarge little bit, Brahmaraji?
I think everyone can individually enlarge.
Because when I'm doing, it is becoming too large. It is going beyond the screen.
No,
Is it okay?
Keep it what is comfortable for you and go ahead.
Yeah, this is okay, no? This one?
Yeah, this is fine.
Not going. Yeah. Okay. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Prajahati Yada Kaman Sarvan Parthamanogatan Atmanyevatmana Tushtaha Sthita Prajnastadochyate. Shri Bhagavan said, when a person gives up all the desires as they appear in the mind, O Partha, happy in oneself, with oneself alone, that person is said to be one of ascertained knowledge. So then Bhagavan said that those who are having the viveka, the prajna, for them it is very, very natural. Sahaja rupena, they have the very natural tendency to be helpful, to be kind, to express the gesture of love, compassion. And for mumukshu, we have to take it as a sadhana till it becomes natural. So the sadhana itself is to be accomplished by the efforts. That is called yatna. Prayatnena, with a prayatna, it comes. Now, the question is, can you be happy if you give up desires? So, here, in order to answer this question, we have to take two things into consideration. First, people are not happy, and secondly, people are always busy fulfilling their desires in order to be happy. I'll just quickly browse through the text, although it is like 2 pages. Should I just read the headings and go ahead? If the example of everyone wants to be happy in this world, as it is said by Gurudev. We all want to have Atmanyaiva Atmana Tushtaha. We all want to make ourselves happy at the end of the day. And for that, we put all our efforts. So when we talk about Arjuna wanted to know what is Sthita Prajna, what a Sthita Prajna was, and Krishna told that the one who is completely happy, just like example of a sugar crystal is given by Swamiji, that when the sugar crystal, you don't need to add any further. to make it more sweeter. It itself is sweet. So the person himself is completely contented with himself. He doesn't need any external means to make him happy. He is full within. So, very nice, beautiful word, pragnya. It is that knowledge which is born of Viveka. And then Swamiji talks about the difference between binding and non binding desires. When we have desires based on our raga and dvesha, then it becomes binding desire. So for Sthita Prajna, it is not that the desires don't come, but their desires are for the Loka Kalyana. They are non-binding. Non-binding desires are not the problem. So that was the last. I will just read the last paragraph where we left yesterday. Since Krishna presented himself as one who performed various actions, and since doing presupposes desires, he could not have been Sthita Prajna by his own definition. Vyasa also must have had a lot of desires to have written this great magnum opus, this huge work called the Mahabharata. To have kept on writing as he did, Vyasa must have had a very special mind indeed, and a lot of desires as well. People often have the desire to accomplish some enormous project or the other, but then after a while they give it up. They begin it but do not complete it. Not Vyasa. He began and finished every chapter. Thus, according to the definition, he could not have been a jnani. In fact, no teacher can be a jnani. Thus, they must all be ajnanis. If the desire is not there, a wise person cannot teach, which means that only the other wise can teach. But they have nothing to teach. Unfortunately, the explanations put forward in some modern commentaries of the Gita based on incorrect translations have created a lot of problems in understanding what is meant by giving up all desires. If this were not the case, there would be no misunderstanding because what was said originally by Krishna is very clear. So the desires are born in everybody, including the Sthita Prajna, Jnani, everybody. But they are not binding for the Sthita Prajna, Jnani people. Like Gurudev takes up so many things, so many projects, and he sees to it that they are completed also. They remain unattached. They are for the welfare of the whole universe. It is for the welfare of the people. And in comparison to them, for Mumukshu, they are based on their own, fulfilling their own desires. So till here we had done. If anything to be shared, just let me know. When you are everything, what is there to be done? As Krishna told Arjuna in the third chapter, a wise person is not bound by his or her desires and is not subject to any kind of mandate. Desires are only binding if you take yourself to be a karta, a doer. Only then do you have things to do. Only then can there be dereliction of duty. If, on the other hand, you do not look upon yourself as a karta and are awake to the knowledge of yourself, there is no question of the self being a doer. Therefore, there is no doership and nothing to be done. Lord Krishna told Arjuna that because he had no desires, he had nothing to do. Because Krishna is everything and everything is himself, what is there to be accomplished? Nevertheless, he was always active, meaning that all the activities he performed were non binding. If activities are non binding, the prompting factor of activity, karma, must also be non binding. Here in the Gita, non binding karma is not the topic, only binding karma is discussed. The placement of the words when yada and then tada in this verse is also significant. The word then becomes Kshamata, the word then comes much later, and until it comes, the force of the word when continues. When a man gives up all desires as they arise, and being happy with himself in himself, only then can he be called a sthita prajna. The force of when is the same for both conditions, when he gives up all desires and when he is happy with himself in himself, depending on nothing for his happiness. I repeat the last sentence again. The force of when is the same for both conditions, when he gives up all desires and when he is happy with himself, in himself, depending on nothing for his happiness. Therefore, one gives up all desires arising in one's mind that are binding in nature, the desires to be secure, to be happy, to be somebody, and so on. A person who is secure with himself or herself gives up such desires naturally. The word tushta in the verse does not merely mean happiness, it implies security also. The insecure cannot be tushta, happy. Therefore, one who is secure is also happy. And giving up all desires is possible only when one is happy with oneself. Thus, the definition of sthita prajna is complete. What else can be said? One who is happy with oneself is a wise person who can totally accept himself or herself because the self is acceptable. The self is perfect. It is not imperfect. Perfection means that there is no sense of imperfection whatsoever. The self is free from any sense of imperfection, and the whole creation, the whole world, the universe is non separate from the self. Because the self is complete, Purna, it cannot be improved upon. Just as the sweetness of sugar cannot be improved upon, so too the fullness of the Atma cannot be improved upon. Being awake to that fact, the person is happy. So beautifully. So when you know that you are complete, you do not need any external means to make you happy, to make you complete. And that also without feeling insecure. You are completely tushta, santushta. You are completely happy with whatever you have, whatever you are, wherever you are. Then that definition of sthita prajna, and in that condition, when you are happy, then you are sthita prajna. So Purnamadah, Purnamidam, Purnat, Purna Udachyate, Purnasya, Purnamadaya, Purnameva avashishyate. So we are that whole, and the whole manifestation around us is also complete. So when we accept that, and when we accept our own self also with that viveka, then you do not need any external means. So naturally, the desires are not followed. Even if they arise, you do not make an attempt, like you do not have that hankering, craving. If it happens, then happens. If it doesn't happen, then also you are happy with yourself. Anyone wants to share before
Suppose
I
if there is
proceed?
a imperfection in surrounding, and we know means that is not right according to the dharma, then if we want to change that, so, and that things are not changing, then can it be that desire of changing something and let go is the proper way?
Yeah, as Brahmaraji said, no, kartum
Hmm.
shakya, akartum shakya, anyathava. You can do it, or you can do it the other way if you are not able to do it. Yeah, you have to put an effort when the things are, you cannot just witness. If the things are wrong, adharma, which is going on around you, then you cannot, but that time also you have, you do it or you do it otherwise.
Hmm. Correct.
Am I
Thank you.
right, Ramaraji?
Yeah. See, the whole thing is about the attitude, inner attitude, no? Whether we are doing it for happiness or out of happiness. When you're doing it out of happiness, whereas irrespective of the outcome, you remain happy. But you still do, you take on responsibilities, like how Gurudev is taking up. And in fact, in yesterday's satsang, I think this point came up so beautifully. Someone asked, how are we supposed to, you say service is an expression of joy. Can you please talk about it? He says, this is exactly what art of living is. In so many different ways. This is the gist where through different means we're getting this inner attitude. So ultimately it is an attitude of a karma yogi, isn't it? You're doing it out of joy. Because what does a karma yogi do? Karma yogi is one who does what is to be done at a given time situation using his discretion, his kushala, to decide the right kind of action, using his viveka. Of course, there Swamiji said it is not Atma Anatma Viveka that he uses, because then he will not be able to function. Supposing a person thinks, oh, everything is Atma, he will not make a difference between the plate and the dosa. So at Vyavaharika Satta, you have to have that distinction. That differentiation between things needs to be there. That Viveka needs to be there. And takes on the right choice of action. He does what needs to be done 100% with that yajna bhava, keeping Ishvara in mind and offering it as an offering. And no matter what that outcome is, he takes it in his stride. He takes it as prasada. But what here he's talking about is that of a jnani, where, of course, a jnani has gone through being a karma yogi and then he becomes a jnani, isn't it? Because a karma yogi, after getting exposed to knowledge and continuing to live this life of a karma yogi, prepares his mind. Antakarna becomes shuddh, becomes nischala. Then that knowledge dawns. So, Sita Prajna that Arjuna has asked and what Krishna is talking about is such a person who is established in knowledge. who's got that Atma Anatma Viveka. So he may continue to do things like himself, Krishna himself. And so many examples are given, Vyasa and
All the teachers.
all the enlightened masters.
Masters, yeah.
They all continue to function. Arjuna's doubt was kind of a little silly because he wanted to know, out of curiosity, how do they talk? How do they walk? He wanted to know, picture out. Like a small child asks, how does an enlightened person behave? Does he talk? Does he walk? And if he does, how does he do it? So he asked, Kim asita vrajeta kim? That was his question. So Krishna has answered that question in a different way, in the sense he's talked to him about the inner attitude. He says he's coming from that fullness.
Tushta is such a beautiful word, no?
Yeah.
Mhm.
So you cannot categorize and say, okay, if he does this and this, he's enlightened. You cannot, because there are infinite possibilities. How people, even amongst enlightened masters, there are different. There are people like Gurudev who goes out into the people, is doing so much. But there are others who just remain by themselves. Ramana Maharshi, man of very few words. So you cannot categorize that a person is enlightened by saying, okay, this is the definition, this is how he will be. But what is their inner attitude? That inner attitude is that of Purna, of completeness, of Prajna. They know the Atma and Atma Viveka is so well rooted in them. Then Atmanyev Atmana Tishtaha. Yeah.
So beautiful. To be wise, you must have wisdom. This then is the lakshana, the definition of a wise person. To be wise requires wisdom, nothing else. How a wise person walks, talks, and sits means nothing. Anyone can learn to walk in a certain way. And if the definition of wise person is that he or she talks slowly, then everyone who talks slowly would be a jnani. The speed at which one talks or how one walks means nothing. Wisdom alone makes one wise, just as being friendly is the only way to make friends. There is no other way. Similarly, some people ask how they can develop love. All that is to be done is to love. What else can you do? You cannot discover love outside of love itself. If you want to discover more love, be loving. Create conditions that will help you discover love. Conditions that are not inimical to the discovery of love. People often create certain conditions in themselves, knowingly or unknowingly, that are inimical to the discovery of love. If you avoid doing this, you will find that you are loving.
Can you
Love
just
is a
repeat that one more time, Bella?
Yeah.
Yeah, I also need it. I have joined. Thank you,
Oh,
everyone.
nice. Dhanyavad, Sureshi,
Jai
Hariom,
Gurudev. Jai Gurudev.
Jai Gurudev. To be wise, you must have wisdom. This then is the Lakshana, the definition of a wise person. To be wise requires wisdom, nothing else. How a wise person walks, talks, and sits means nothing. Anyone can learn to walk in a certain way. And if the definition of a wise person is that he or she talks slowly, then everyone who talks slowly would be a jnani. The speed at which one talks or how one walks means nothing. Wisdom alone makes one wise, just as being friendly is the only way to make friends. There is no other way. Similarly, some people ask how they can develop love. All that is to be done is to love. What else can you do? You cannot discover love outside of love itself. If you want to discover more love, be loving. Create conditions that will help you discover love, conditions that are not inimical to the discovery of love. People often create certain conditions in themselves, knowingly or unknowingly, that are inimical to the discovery of love. If you avoid doing this, you will find that you are loving. I think this was also answered in satsang by Gurudev so beautifully. When you want to understand love, you have to be loving, nothing else. You cannot, but if you create certain conditions which are inimical to the love, then you cannot discover or you cannot be that pro-loving.
So, what are the situations that we create in ourselves that are inimical to love, to being loving?
Yeah, when you come out of raga, dvesha, especially dvesha, then you will not have hatred for anybody. So those 5 conditions of our course, basic course, happiness point.
Can you just go to the last paragraph once?
Yeah.
The previous paragraph?
The here only, no? To be wise, you must have wisdom in the same heading.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yeah, yeah.
Means we should not have precondition for love. They say, no, the people often create certain conditions in themselves, knowingly or unknowingly, and that are inimical to the discovery of love. Means they oppose.
Opposite.
Ah,
They are
they create the opposite
the
because
contradiction
you
of
have
love.
uh, uh, some perception of love, you know. Says create certain condition in themselves, knowingly or unknowingly. They may not be knowing also, you know. So that is very,
What we,
very
yeah,
objection to the loving this one. So in
what
the
we,
heart, we should have the purity in the heart. That is what we say, no? And that will come only
Raga dvesha rahit.
no, and also following the this sadhana, you know, when you create, so every cells will have the energy, this one. So you will have the clarity of mind in you, and automatically you will have the purity of heart also. So the daily sadhana, that cleanliness of the antakarana shuddhi has to happen. You should be very open, means you should not have conditions for love. If he laughs at me, then only I will laugh, or like that, you know, many things. Why I should call them? They didn't call us at all anytime. Such conditions, many conditions are there, you know. So we block it ourselves. with our own perception of own world. So we have to be very free in the mind. That's what hollow and empty does, Very beautiful sentence that is. You can read the last paragraph, sorry. Thank you, Belaji.
Yeah, very nice. Similarly, some people ask how they can develop love. All that is to be done is to love. What else can you do? You cannot discover love outside of love itself. If you want to discover more love, be loving. Create conditions that will help you discover love. Conditions that are not inimical to the discovery of love. People often create certain conditions in themselves, knowingly or unknowingly, that are inimical to the discovery of love. If you avoid doing this, you will find that you are loving.
So here we put in a lot of preconditions. It's all conditional, our love, no? If you do this, I will love you. If you don't do this, if you do this, if you are good to me, kind to me, I will love you. So, irrespective of the other person, just like how nature is so unconditional, we remove those preconditions. And this happens knowingly, unknowingly, because there are so many of our raga dveshas that are embedded because of our purva samskaras. We do not know when and what situations they'll show up.
But sometimes some people misunderstand us and they feel our intentions are not the, it is not our problem, right?
Then
It
it's
is
not
their
our
problem.
problem, no?
Correct.
What others think is not our problem. You see?
Because you cannot make everybody happy.
Yeah.
It is one truth.
And we don't know how they think also.
Yes.
We may assume it. We don't
Even
know.
in service, it happens. Even when you are doing completely selfless service, there also there are people who will not understand you the way you want them to understand you. But it's okay. You have to leave it.
You
Day
should let
before,
them give them that freedom to think what they want to think. You be clear about what you have to do, what you want to do. That's the whole point about don't be a football, right?
Correct.
Because we cannot
Happiness.
govern other people's thinking. You cannot govern your own thinking. So, what we do is develop that inner resilience.
And we have a perception that if I love others, they should also love me. Whether they love you or not love you, you start loving. That's it. That comes in the Narada Bhakti Sutra also. Whether he loves or not loves, assume that they love you. That also is this one Guruji has said. We always think what they will think. Oh, they will do this. Oh, like that. If I talk like this, they may not be happy. All such things we have to just be happy. That's it. Whether they love you or not, you assume that they are loving you. That's one more big thing which blocks the love. We always wait for the reaction from the others or approval from the others to love also.
Because our
You are loving. Sorry.
Fundamental problem is that we are not complete.
Yeah.
Not secure.
Fundamental error. Correct.
Fundamental error. Human error is that we think, oh, I will feel complete if such and such thing happens.
That preconditions are there.
Whereas the Sthita Prajna is one who is like the ocean. He is full in himself. Whether the river comes into the ocean, whether anything happens, the ocean is just full. He or she does not need anything else to be full. And whatever they act and do, it comes out of this fullness, out of this joy and happiness.
ಇದು ನೋಡಿ
Yeah.
ಗೀತಾ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್.
Yes. And that 24 means that Devi Sampada, that if we somebody means wise person have Devi Sampada, Abhayam Sattva Shuddhim, that we have somewhere read, no, in some chapter.
Yeah. All
Means
the qualities
so,
of
wise. This is Karma Yogi and this is Jnani. Something like difference.
18th chapter. It was in 18th chapter, I believe.
That gunas, if we have 20 or 12, I don't.
Yeah, ahimsa, satya, krodha, tyaga, shantirapaishunam, daya, bhuteshvaloluptvam, mardavam, rira chapalam, teja, kshama, dhruti, shaucham, adroho, nati manita, bhavanti sampadam daivim, abhijatasya bharata.
Very right. So beautifully. So these are all the lakshanas of a wise person. They become the sadhana tools. So we put in that little effort to cultivate them. And in order to do this, the seva aspect comes in very appropriately.
Correct. When you are in that field, then the reality, I mean, about yourself, about the whole creation, it comes into picture.
Yeah.
And in satsang,
Otherwise,
someone asked, how to read the mind of others. So we have to be very clean mind, means that contentment and sthirta, stillness should be there. So we can read the mind. So what we are thinking, others cannot understand. Why we are doing any seva, that also people cannot understand, because the thinking level is different. So they always will read us our means in their own perceptions. So they will think that way.
Example of mother also can be like given here, like she's always having that loving attitude and she's not demanding anything, so it is not conditional, it is spontaneous. Whether the child is doing the right thing or that love is always it is spontaneous, so it will not be affected by his attitudes, or maybe he's not what we say in Hindi, he's a kapoot. Even if he's a kapoot, the love of a mother is always there for the child.
That's not true. If mother is clear in her, means she is a wise or she has wisdom, she will not love that child. There may be a means how can
Oh,
she accept?
No, it's not that she's accepting the wrongdoings, but it is that love behind which is which is always present. Though he may be doing something wrong, but in a way she will have that love. She'll try to rectify it. She would want to correct him. She would want to do efforts to make him good. But that love would not go away. Even if she wants to punish his children, then she would be doing it uh, out of love only, no? That love will not vanish, it will remain. It is like doing all things superficially. She's all doing everything, but the love part would be there. This is what I was analyzing. And then unknowingly, I could not follow, like how unknowingly the person can condition themselves unknowingly.
It is like, see, knowingly we know several conditions and situations. Whereas unknowingly is you do not know what new situations you will encounter and what raga dveshas are embedded in your subconscious. They will show up as and when those situations unfold.
Okay. When the situation arises, right?
Yeah. So again, what we need to do, that yatna that we need to do is, number one, being aware. And just doing what is to be done. Just being aware and not going along with the raga dveshas. I think that clarity in the mind, that purity in the heart is, you're feeling full, you're feeling unconditional love for everyone. That samatva bhavana is there. And this clarity in the mind is, you know what to do. Whether to do, not to do, or do otherwise. That clarity. And then sincerity in action is when you're just doing it 100%. In such a simple way, Gurudev has brought in the whole gist.
True, very true. Even the prisoners program, do not hate the criminal, hate the crime. That is also such a beautiful slogan. I mean,
And for them, the karuna daya, means that should be for that person.
hmm. So in our day-to-day living also, the same principle we can apply to have that compassion for everybody around us. And that comes only when our heart, as Sureshji rightly said, when our antakarana is clean and there is no raga dvesha for people.
This having compassion does not mean you will not do your duty.
Mm.
Arjuna, if he was asked, Krishna told him, okay, just be, have this unconditional love, then he would not be able to ask him to fight.
Mm.
He's asking, that's the primary question Arjuna keeps getting chapter after chapter. You're talking to me about knowledge. You're talking to me about sannyasa. Why are you asking me to do all of this?
No, if you do not have compassion, you get angry. Such small thing you don't understand. We'll say, no. He doesn't understand. That is what we have to be compassionate.
Mm.
He doesn't understand. That we should know it.
Means daya is because of the his or her ignorance.
That is what. So how ignorant he is, that compassion we should have.
Mm.
Then we can correct him anyway. But if we get angry, hey, you don't know this much also. We tell many times.
Very true.
That is, the compassion is that he is ignorant and he is behaving. If he was knowing, why he will behave like that? That is the compassion we should have.
It is like moment to moment. It is not that moment to moment we have to be aware and alert so that we do not create conditions which are inimical. Instead, we create conditions which are friendly for love. Very beautiful.
Sometimes we tell, by angrily we tell, you don't know anything like this, to correct him. But it works otherwise, it is just like hating. He doesn't know, therefore he is doing it that way. If we have that much compassion, then everything will work out slowly in any situation. Dealing with children, dealing with so many children, they don't know. Therefore, they are like that. They have so much energy, they don't know how to spend it. Now, I was playing with my grandson. He had so much energy, so much. Really. And they don't know what they were doing it with that energy. They want to dissipate it. Jai Gurudev.
Yeah, very beautiful.
And one way of getting out of Ragadvesha is because Gurudev says, when you look at people's faces, that is when Ragadvesha happens. When you look at nature, it doesn't happen. So look at everybody as faceless, without a face. Because it is the face that triggers either raga or dvesha.
He says silohote, no? Silohote. That expression means like a doll there.
In Vigyan Bhairav also he gave this technique.
Sometimes the situation demands to get angry. Then you show your anger, but that should not go beyond the throat like Neelakantha. It should not go to your heart and create that dvesha. Yeah. Love is a manifestation of one's fullness. Love is nothing but the expressed form of fullness, Ananda. And just as wheat flour takes on names such as bread, rolls, and muffins, so too love is subject to various forms. The different names given to wheat represent modifications of the wheat. Similarly, love is a simple emotion, which is a modification or manifestation of Ananda. If you analyze love, you will find nothing but Ananda. The manifest form of Ananda is love, and love itself turns into such natural qualities as sympathy, compassion, and giving depending upon the situation. And when that same love is distorted in any way, it becomes karma, leading to negative emotions such as greed, anger, depression, and so on. All of these then are nothing but one expression of Ananda, love. This is why we say love is Bhagavan, meaning that the expressed form of Ananda is Bhagavan. And what is Bhagavan? The essential form of Bhagavan is Sat Chit Ananda. And the expressed form of Ananda, Ishvara, the Lord, is love. The modifications of this love can be either positive or negative. Sympathy and compassion are examples of the positive modifications of love, whereas negative modifications are anger, greed, jealousy, and so on. All that is there is one Ananda, expressed or unexpressed. Unexpressed, it is the Swarupa, the very nature of fullness, which is the definition of Ananda. Expressed, it becomes love, Prema. We shall see more of this definition later. Here, the Sthita Prajna is one who discovers the Ananda in himself or herself and knows that there is nothing other than oneself. When one says, I am the whole, it means that the person is himself or herself the fulfillment of all desires. We shall see as we proceed how the discovery of oneself and the fulfillment of all desires are not separate but identical. Very important. I think I read once again this paragraph with all of yours permission. Love is a manifestation of one's fullness. Love is nothing but the expressed form of fullness, Ananda. And just as wheat flour takes on names such as bread, rolls, and muffins, so too love is subject to various forms. The different names given to wheat represent modifications of the wheat. Similarly, love is a simple emotion, which is a modification or manifestation of Ananda. If you analyze love, you will find nothing but Ananda. The manifest form of Ananda is love, and love itself turns into such natural qualities as sympathy, compassion, and giving, depending upon the situation. And when that same love is distorted in any way, it becomes karma, leading to negative emotions such as greed, anger, depression, and so on. All of these then are nothing but one expression of Ananda, love. This is why we say love is Bhagavan, meaning that the expressed form of Ananda is Bhagavan. And what is Bhagavan? The essential form of Bhagavan is Sat Chit Ananda. And this the expressed form of Ananda, Ishvara, the Lord, is love. The modifications of this love can be either positive or negative. Sympathy and compassion are examples of the positive modifications of love, whereas negative modifications are anger, greed, jealousy, and so on. All that is there is one Ananda, expressed or unexpressed. Unexpressed, it is the Svarupa, the very nature of fullness, which is the definition of Ananda expressed. It becomes love prema. We shall see more of this definition later. Here, the Sthita Prajna is one who discovers the Ananda in himself or herself and knows that there is nothing other than oneself. When one says, I am the whole, it means that the person is himself or herself the fulfillment of all desires. We shall see as we proceed how the discovery of oneself and the fulfillment of all desires are not separate but identical. So beautiful. So, when you realize that you do not need anything externally, then that automatically that Ananda Swarupa, which is nothing but Ishvara. I request everyone to share, please. Brahmaraji, may I stop reading at this point and we can open it for Manana, please?
Yeah, we can do that.
Yeah, so it will be page 336 for tomorrow, page verse 56. Yeah.
So this last line, discovery of oneself and the fulfillment of all desires are not separate but identical.
Yeah, that is a takeaway line. Very beautiful.
When a person is in self-knowledge, then desires, he's full, he's whole, he's not incomplete.
Did you ask anything, Savitaji? I didn't hear. I'm sorry.
No, I was just saying that to be in self-knowledge makes the person like complete. He doesn't have desires. He is full in himself. He's whole, like he's in the state of ananda. When a person is he has that knowledge of the atma, anatma, then
Person is
he's
complete.
yeah, he doesn't require anything. He has that self knowledge. It will include everything. Will include that scriptural knowledge, then sayam, then tushta, like contentment, and following that dharma path, and no raga dvesha will be there. So it is self knowledge is we can say as a whole package. If you are in that, then there will be nothing required. You are in a bliss basically. So, but it is so easily said than done, and desires keep on coming. Like even if you don't desire for yourself, basically the desire is some hidden desire is there, because if you want somebody to excel, then again there's a desire that you will like it. There is a And there's a feeling behind, no? That if he performs well, then I will feel good. So again, indirectly, it is a desire of yourself only. So wanting, expecting people also that they are doing good is again your own desire.
That
So
is why
desire-
Tatmanastu Kamaya Sarvam Priyam Bhavati. We learned that, right, before? So,
Yeah.
whatever we do, it seemingly does as if we're doing it for others, but it's actually for our own self. That's on one side, and that love is an expression of this Ananda. And it has two spectra. One is a negative, one is positive. So the positive spectrum includes all the human values of loving, being friendly, sharing, compassionate. Whereas the negative spectrum is all the distorted form of love is anger, greed, jealousy. So it's the same thing, which just gets distorted. And that distortion again is because of the presence of the ego. The ego comes in and then the I comes in. And of course, ignorance and not being aware. No, not having this discrimination.
Gurudev says no many times when you are full means content your desires means before arise desires arise it gets fulfilled, and when the desires are not fulfilled this all negative qualities will follow, that karma will come, then anger will come, and that all negative qualities.
See, they say everyone is selfish. It's in a broader sense, if you look, take self as Atma, to reach to it, we have to be selfish. So, Atmanam, Atmanam, we have to be fulfilled in ourself only first. Then only everything we see as a fulfillment of whatever you think, it is the reflection. The world is the reflection always. So antarmukhi sadasukhi, they say. Everything is complete there. And before you desire, as you said, the desires fulfill, automatic. So that you need not have to desire. That's what Guruji says. Just to think of it, it just happens, manifests. That is complete pure love.
Anyone wants to share?
We'll do the Shanti part and we'll close the session, Leela.
Yeah.
And let me know if you're able to share the meditation.
Yeah, I will.
Okay.
No problem, I will. Yeah. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah, Sarve Santu Niramayah, Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu, Ma Kashid Dukha Bhag Bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Sarvam Shri Krishnarpanamastu. Om Tat Sat.
living every moment totally with depth. Let us keep our spine erect and body relaxed and eyes closed. Relax your shoulders. Keep a big smile on your face. You're sitting like the statue of Buddha, very serene and with serene smile on your face. Relax your body. Let's take a deep breath in and breathe out. Become aware of your chest region, throat and chest region. If you notice some tension in the body, just let it be. Except those parts of the body where you feel a tension, the other parts in comfort, other parts are at peace. Become aware of that also. There are many good things about you and inside of you. Acknowledge them. They will never leave you. And the negative aspect you may see in you is never going to stay with you forever. They are all guests for some time. Let them be. Sit with the total acceptance of yourself the way you are at this very moment. Total acceptance of what is now here lead us to deeper meditation. Let go of all the effort. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Let go of all your effort and be in this emptiness. And slowly and gradually become aware of body and surroundings. And you may gently open your eyes.